everybody, it's Ryan.
And Caden.
And welcome back to First Do No Harm.
Today we're going to be talking about the primary application, which for DOs is the AACOMAS application.
And the AACOMAS application, you can find it by going to AACOM.org. I will link it down below in the description box. But that stands for the American Association of Colleges of Osteopathic Medicine. So make sure whenever you go to that site, you explore the site and really make sure that you find out an answer to the question of why do you want to be a DO? So why choose osteopathic medicine over allopathic medicine? Because I promise you're going to be asked that question either in a secondary application or in an interview. So you need to or both even.
Multiple times, both.
You really need to make sure that you know the answer to that question. So you personally, why you would choose being a DO instead of an MD. So on the AACOM site, you want to click an orange button in the upper right hand corner, and that says apply to med school on it, and you want to click that and it'll take you to the AACOMAS site. So when you get to the AACOMAS site, what you want to do is you want to sign up for it, make a username and password and all that, and then you can start filling out your application. So
make sure you, once you actually get into this site, make sure you spend plenty of time actually exploring it, because one thing that I've had a little bit of a interesting time with, just personally, is finding out where everything is.
Yeah, so we're going to break that down for you right now, because we want you guys to not have to suffer as much as we've had to for figuring out where everything is on the site and everything.
So after you create your account, you're going to be taken to this page where you're going to be given a list where they're going to ask you, okay, what schools do you want to apply to? One thing to keep in mind is that the more schools you pick, the more expensive it's going to be, and it's going to go up really quickly. The first application, the first school that you pick will always be over $100, and it's 40 odd, 50 odd for every subsequent school that you pick. I'm just applying the 3 schools, and it's like almost $240, $250.
Yeah, that's about what it was for me too, because we applied to the same 3 schools. But you won't have to pay that until after you submit your application, so don't really worry about that too much if you haven't started yet.
But just keep in mind that you don't want to pick too few schools, because the more schools you pick, the more schools you apply to, the higher chance you get into one. But at the same time, the more schools you apply to, the more money down the drain.
Okay, so when you go and you pick your schools, after that, you'll click like a next button or whatever, and it'll take you to the personal info part of the site of the application. And so what you have to do with that, it's just a bunch of demographics-based questions like who you are, where you came from, your race, your gender, and everything like that. So that's pretty much what that part is. It's really straightforward.
And the second section is mostly on your academic history. So what's the highest level degree that you've got, what high school, what college did you attend, just things about that, like that revolve around your academics, and any sort of extra. Does that one include extra programs like what
no.
I mean is like, okay, and then I'm wrong.
No,
okay,
I think
that's just high
in
school.
like the supporting info and stuff like that.
Okay, that one's just high schools, colleges.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So one major thing that you have to fill out on the academic history is your transcripts. So click the transcripts part of the application on academic history, and you will have to download a transcript request form. So when you download that and you fill it out, you got to take that to your college. So if you're still in college, for us it was free. If you're still in college, if you're out of college, you might have to pay a fee. I don't know how it is everywhere, but that's how it is for us. And so you'll have to fill that out and do that several weeks before you want to turn in your application, because it would be really great for you to have it there and waiting for you instead of you having to wait for your transcripts to come into the AACOMAS site. Once the transcripts are in the AACOMAS site, then AACOMAS will send them out to your schools that you're applying to. So they will make sure that your schools have them, as long as you make sure that the transcripts get sent to AACOMAS, and the form tells you how to do all of that. Also in the academic history section is your MCAT. Now we are going to make a whole section of videos about MCAT, like studying for it and all that.
Of stuff.
Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. But for the MCAT, you do have to self-report your score. So you have to say what date that you took your MCAT, and when you get your score, you have to self-report it. That means that you fill in the scores yourself. But one thing that you have to make sure that you do whenever you take your MCAT and you get your score from AAMC, from that, the allopathic med school people, you have to make sure that you release the score to the AACOMAS site. So, I mean, it's a long, drawn-out process, but it's really not too bad.
So that means no fudging numbers.
Yeah, don't fudge any numbers. And your supporting info is the next section. So there's 4 sections of your application, 4 major sections. So your supporting info has like your letters of recommendation, your experiences, like your volunteer and work experiences, and your achievements.
There are several ways to go about the letters of recommendation, but the easiest way is through that site itself. What you do is you have to go into the academic section.
Supporting info.
Not yet. You have to go through the supporting info section. And once you get in the supporting section, it'll actually pull up, you need to go, what's the section called?
Letters, or evaluations.
Evaluations.
Yeah.
Yeah, once you go through there, you select evaluations. It takes you to this page, which shows all of your letters, and it will show you all of your request forms. So what you do is, for whoever you want to write you a letter, you have to send them a request form, typically by email. They respond to that email, and once they write the letter, AAMC will get the letter. We'll get
AACOMAS.
Yeah, my bad. AACOMAS will get the letter.
Okay, so yeah, in like your experiences, you can fill out any volunteer experiences that you've had. The more the merrier. Any work experiences that you've had, because all that stuff really, really looks good. Also, there was something, I don't remember what section I filled it out, but where we did EMT school, and if you guys have any certifications like CNA, EMT, that sort of thing, that would...
Even just first aid.
Yeah, that kind of thing that would look really good in the application, and you want them to see of you. So I don't remember. I think it's in supporting info, though. It might be under continuing education, but I believe it's in supporting info. So you go and you fill it out. You fill out what the class was. You fill out who your instructor was, their email address, and stuff like that. And you also want to upload a scanned photo of your certificate. So for us, it was like our EMT certificates that we got in the mail.
And if you're in any sort of volunteer groups, like I myself am on the Rotaract group here on campus, if you have any sort of volunteer, if you're in any sort of volunteer groups like that, that's also a really good thing to put in as well.
Definitely. And your achievements. So your achievements are if you've gotten any like awards through the school. I feel that's what I put on there.
An example would be Alpha Chi.
Right. And that would be under honors. Whenever you go to achievements and you click like what type of achievement or whatever, it would be under honors. So that's what I put under that. But also, like, if you were the valedictorian or salutatorian of your high school, that would look really good to put in under there. Just make sure you put a description of the experience in under there if it's kind of ambiguous and you're not sure if they will know what you meant by it. And one more thing that goes in under your supporting info is your personal statement. So it's about 500 to 700 words, I would say. It's actually limited by characters, not by words, and I think it's like 4,500 characters that you have to stay limited to, which honestly, that's quite a bit of space that you can describe yourself in.
It's not too long, it's not too short.
No, it's not too long and not too short. We will actually, if you guys want us to, make a video on personal statement, our advice for that, but just for now, the major takeaway is make sure that whenever they read your personal statement, they see who you are, not what you think that they would want to see. So definitely just show yourself, be an open book.
Not what you rehearse, not what you want them to see, right? Like, this is who I am, this is what I've done, this is what I feel like I bring to the table.
Exactly.
The fourth thing would be the program materials, and these vary between different schools, and each school has certain things that they want.
Right, so for like my program materials, where I applied to 3 schools, there were 3 different sort of sets of questions that I had to answer. And so the questions were really general, just like, have you ever committed any crimes, or have you ever been disciplined, or anything like that. And also some schools have prerequisite requirements. So those are your biology, your chemistry, your psychology types of classes, like your electives. If you had any AP classes in high school, those are the things that you want to fill out.
This is something to keep in mind when applying to schools. Like, one school that you might want to apply to might say like their prerequisite is zoology, for instance. Another one might have a prerequisite they want biochemistry,
right,
stuff like that. And when you plan your semesters, like your at this point probably like your either your last year, or if you're early enough, your last 2 years. These are the classes you want to keep in mind if you want to actually go to these schools.
Right. And make sure that you fill out those sections, the prerequisite requirements, after you self-report your transcript. That's one more thing that we forgot to mention. Whenever we were talking about transcripts, you have to self-report your transcript, and it has to be word for word exactly how it looks in your actual transcript. So even if your transcript might have like a weird misspelling of a word or something in one of your classes, because some of mine actually do, like philosophical was abbreviated, and I ended up spelling out philosophical completely, and it dinged back at me. It's like, no, it needs to be exactly how your transcript is.
And didn't it reset the whole thing or something? Or did it just reset
No, it didn't.
I remember like you said something that you had to redo everything.
Well, I ended up redoing everything because at first I wasn't sure that we needed to have every single class that we've ever taken in there, which we do. Even the classes that have nothing to do with med school, you have to self-report because they go into your cumulative GPA.
So all of those painting classes you have to report those to.
Art appreciation. So yeah, I wasn't sure about that, so I didn't
Painting, pottery, basket weaving, you have to report those classes to.
Yeah, I didn't even put any of those in at first, and then I ended up having to redo the entire self-reporting transcript thing because I didn't know that we were supposed to put those in. So make sure you put every class in there. I can tell them my goof up on one of our schools that we're applying to. So whenever you go through, like I said before about the have you committed any crimes, have you ever been disciplined for anything, on one of my schools I actually goofed up, and my laptop's a touchscreen, so whenever I finished up my application I was just scrolling through and checking to make sure that I had everything completed and everything.
No.
Yeah, and I had no clicked all the way down, I swear, but I must have accidentally hit yes to one of those questions, and then a couple of weeks ago I got an email from the school that I had applied to that I had accidentally hit yes to, and they said, we need clarification on this, like, what professional society have you been disciplined from? And I said, oh my goodness, I never got disciplined from anyone. So it's all cleared out now, and actually it was kind of a really good opportunity because I was able to talk to the head of admissions of this one school and get it cleared up. So I've kind of developed a relationship with her. So that was, I guess, to put a positive spin on things, that was actually really good. So any experiences or anything that you do after you submit your application, you can always go back and refill those in, and then just click update your application, and it automatically sends it to all of your schools. So that's actually really cool. If you end up taking your MCAT again, which I mean I might end up taking it again just because, you can actually go back in and fill in new things. You just can't change old things is the only thing. So if something has been submitted and it's an old thing, that can't be changed, but you can always go back and add in new things like experiences and more letters of recommendation, another MCAT if you took it. I believe you can even put in standardized tests such as the ACT and the GRE. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that, but I think that you can.
And that's pretty much a general rundown of the AACOMAS application. If you have any questions or any comments, anything that you want us to go over in the future, or just have any specific questions about, just
any criticisms on our videoing and stuff, because
any tomatoes you want to throw.
Yeah, because we're still really new at this, you guys. Any suggestions at all are very, very, very welcomed at this point.
Anything, if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments below.
Make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button and the little bell if you want to be notified whenever we've uploaded a new video.
And we will see you guys next time.
Bye!